You hungry? Well, so am I. Nothing's new. But you know what is new? This TED Talk by Caleb Harper called This Computer Will Grow Your Food in the Future. Now, this sounds interesting because how can something like technology grow one of our basic daily needs, which is food? Well, we're here to find out. So, what I'm pretty much going to do is review this video and react to it, talk about what he does, what he doesn't do. And since it's a 15-minute video, I don't want to bore you guys for that long, so I'm just going to summarize some parts that I know of, and I did some research on the outside, so I can add that to this equation as well. All right, let's get started. I'm your boy Drew, by the way, and this angle down here is because my camera is down there, so bear with me. So first off, we're going to start with the TED Talk intro, which I like. Sorry, excuse me.
Food crisis. It's in the news every day. But what is it? Some places in the world, it's too little food, maybe too much. Other places, GMO is saving the world. Maybe GMO is the problem. Too much agricultural runoff, creating bad oceans, toxic oceans, attenuation of nutrition.
So basically right here, the whole part that he is talking about is how there's too much toxic and there's a lot of GMOs going on right now, and that might not be the solution to our problem of food crisis. And how he's dressed shows us that he's professional. Since he's wearing business formal with a suit and shirt, but also a little bit of casual without the tie. So he can appeal to the audience.
They go on. And I find the current climate of this discussion incredibly...
So basically, even though I talk fast, he does talk a little bit slower than I talk. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this video on double speed so I can get through it quick, but then I'll explain to you guys what he talks about. All right. Let's get this rolling, my dudes.
Disempowering. So how do we bring that to something that we understand? How is this apple food crisis? You've all eaten an apple in the last week, I'm sure. How old do you think it was from when it was picked? 2 weeks? 2 months?
So if we go back a little bit, right here. If we go back right here.
Last week, I'm sure. How old do you think it was from when it was picked?
The audience. You can see this girl, this lady, very intent. And this lady over here also very intent. This lady is smiling. This man is also listening. As you can see, they're listening into what he has to say. This is his hook. This is where he comes in with like what can interest the audience and why they're here to listen to him.
2 weeks, 2 months, 11 months. The average age of an apple in a grocery store in the United States. I don't expect it to be much different in Europe or anywhere else in the world. We pick them, we put them in cold storage, we gas the cold storage. There's actually documented proof of workers trying to go into these environments to retrieve an apple and dying.
So pretty much this right here talks about how the way we preserve food right now is really bad. Because like, as you can see, not only is the food itself going to be bad eventually over time, but it's the workers who are trying to just get the food for other people. They are also dying. So he's using this example of pathos to try to appeal to the audience saying, oh my gosh, what we're doing is bad. We have a problem right now. We need to fix it.
Fear that they slow down the process of the apple is also toxic to humans. How is it that none of you know this? Why didn't I know this? 90% of the quality of that apple, all the antioxidants are gone by the time we get it. It's basically a little ball of sugar. How did we get it so information poor? And how can we do better? I think what's missing is a platform. I know platforms, I know computers. They put me on the internet when I was young. I did very weird things on this platform.
So right here, pretty much, since it's double speed, you can't really tell. But right now, the audience is laughing because he was just talking about his mischievous little self when he was little on the internet and stuff. And now he's talking about the topic of how there's a problem, how we can create a solution, and how this technology can be the solution, and how he's related to it.
But I met people and I could express myself. How do you express yourself in food? If we had a platform, we might feel empowered. Good question, what if? For me, I question, what if climate was democratic? So this is a map of climate in the world. The most productive areas in green, the least productive in red. They shift and they change, and Californian farmers now become Mexican farmers. China picks up land in Brazil to grow better food, and we're slaves to climate. What if each country had its own productive climate? What would that change about how we live? What would that change about quality of life and nutrition? Last generation's problem was we need more food and we need it cheap. Welcome to your global farm. We built a huge analog farm. All these traces, these are cars, planes, trains, and automobiles. It's a miracle that we feed 7 billion people with just a few of us involved in the production of food. What if we built a digital farm, a digital world farm? What if?
Keep saying what if, what if, what if. This repetition shows to the audience to make them think. It makes them think, like, what can we do to be in the solution? What can we do? And then he brings up the idea of computers, which he will go into detail.
You could take this apple, digitize it somehow, send it through particles in the air, and reconstitute it on the other side. What if? Going through some of these quotes, they inspire me to do what I do. First one, Japanese farming has no youth, no water, no land, and no future. That's where I landed to the day that I went to Minami Sanriku. One stop
So
south of
you can
Fukushima.
see right here,
the kids have headed to Sendai
he
in
talks
Tokyo.
about his quotes, the quotes that inspired him to do better.
The land is contaminated. They already import 70% of their own food, but it's not unique to Japan. 2% of the American population is involved in farming. What good answer comes from 2% of any population? As we go around the world, 50% of the African population is under 18. 80% don't want to be farmers. Farming is hard. The life of a small shareholder farmer is miserable. They go into the city. In India, farmers' families not being able to have basic access to utilities. More farmer suicides this year and the previous 10 before that. It's uncomfortable to talk about.
Right here, he talks about very serious statistics. He's using logos and pathos to appeal to the audience to let them know that like there's an issue going on right now, and the statistics prove that.
Where are they going? Into the city. No young people, and everyone's headed in. So how do we build this platform that inspires the youth? Welcome to the new tractor, right? This is my combine. A number of years ago now, I went to Bed Bath & Beyond and Home Depot, and I started hacking, and I built silly things, and I made plants dance, and I attached them to my computer, and I killed them all a lot.
So right here, he's just talking about how like he messed around with tech. Okay, like me being a tech person itself, like can understand like messing around with tech, doing a lot of stuff. Except he had a passion with these plants and stuff. So he can say, he said that he just messed around with them. He started hacking on the plants itself, which is a new thing I've never seen before. So.
And I eventually got them to survive, and I created one of the most intimate relationships I've ever had in my life because I was learning the language of plants. So I wanted to make it bigger. They said, knock yourself out, kid. Here's an old electronics room that nobody wants. What can you do? With my team, we built a farm inside of the Media Lab, a place historically known not for anything about biology, but everything about digital life. Inside of this, 60 square feet. We produce enough food to feed about 300 people once a month. Not a lot of food, and there's a lot of interesting technology in there. But the most interesting thing, beautiful white,
So pretty much,
tastes sweet to me.
Pretty much what I forwarded right there was just him talking about what the food is and what he grows. And basically, I did some research on the outside, and they're the MIT lab. They also conducted the same experiment, and yes, it does prove to work. So his methods and his experiment were pretty accurate, and they also show that the plants itself, like this chart right here, basically shows how the water properties of sweet versus regular romaine and of these lettuces, and like how his plants know exactly what time to be plucked and what time to get the maximum amount of nutrients.
Technology is falling backwards into plant physiology. So we thought other people need to be able to try this. We want to see what people can create, so we conceived of a lab that could be shipped anywhere. And then we built it. So on the facade of the Media Lab is my lab that has about 30 points of sensing per plant. So if you know about the genome or genetics, this is the phenome, right? The phenomena. When you say, I like the strawberries from Mexico, you really like the strawberries from the climate that produce the expression that you like. So if you're coding climate, this much CO2, this much O2 creates a recipe. You're coding the expression of that plant, the nutrition of that plant, the size of that plant, the shape, the color, the texture. We need data. So we put a bunch of
So
sensors
right
in
here
there to
is
tell
where
us
he validates his points by showing he put on a bunch of sensors and he tested for every single variable to make sure there was only one that was changing, and that way they could assure that their experiment was working.
Think of your houseplants, and you look at your houseplant, you're super sad because you're like, why are you dying? Won't you talk to me? Farmers develop the most beautiful fortune-telling eyes by the time they're in their late 60s and 70s. They can tell you when you see that plant dying that it's a nitrogen deficiency, a calcium deficiency, or it needs more humidity. Those beautiful eyes are not being passed down. These are eyes in the cloud of a farmer. We trend those data points over time. We correlate those data points to individual plants. These are all the broccoli in my lab that day.
So this part's really funny because usually IP address is associated with like technology, like my phone right here, the computer I'm recording this on, even my AirPods have IP addresses. So basically, the funny part is he has broccoli on this IP address, so which is kind of cool. And
we have IP addressable broccoli.
and the audience gets to click that too.
So, if that's not weird enough, you can click one and you get a plant profile. And what this tells you is downloadable progress on that plant, but not like you think. It's not just when it's ready.
See, right
when does
here.
it achieve the nutrition that I need? When does it achieve the taste that I desire? Is it getting too much water? Is it getting too much sun? Alerts. It can talk to me. It's conversant. We have a language.
The green thumb.
I think
Facebook for plants.
I think of that as the first user on the plant Facebook, right? That's a plant profile, and that plant will start making friends. And I mean it. It will make friends with other plants that use less nitrogen, more phosphorus, less potassium. We're going to learn about a complexity that we can only guess at now. And they may not friend us back. I don't know, they might friend us back. It depends on how we act. So this is my lab now.
Wow,
It's a little bit more systematized. My background is designing data centers and hospitals of all things. So I know a little bit about creating a controlled environment. And so inside of this environment, we're experimenting with all kinds of things. You know, this process, aeroponics, it was developed by NASA for Mir space station for reducing the amount of water they send into space. What it really does is give the plant exactly what it wants. Water, minerals, and oxygen. Roots are not that complicated. So when you give them that, you get this amazing expression. It's like the plant has two hearts. And because it has two hearts, it grows 4 or 5 times faster. Right? It's a perfect world. We've gone a long way into technology and seed for an adverse world. And we're going to continue to do that. We're going to have a new tool too, which is perfect world. So we've grown all kinds of things. These tomatoes hadn't been in commercial production for 150 years. Do you know that we have rare and ancient seed banks? Banks of seed. It's amazing. They have germplasm alive and things that you've never eaten. I'm the only person in this room that's eaten that kind of tomato. Problem is it was a sauce tomato and we don't know how to cook, so we just ate a sauce tomato, which is not that great, but we've done things with protein. We've grown all kinds of things. We've grown humans. Maybe you could, but we didn't. But what we realized is the tool was too big, it was too expensive. I was starting to put them around the world, and they were about $100,000, so finding somebody with 100 grand in their back pocket isn't so easy, so we wanted to make a small one. So this project was actually one of my students, mechanical engineering undergraduates, Camille. So Camille and I and my team, we iterated all summer how to make it cheaper, how to make it work better, how to make it so other people can make it.
So
And then we
this
dropped
is
them
like the
off school.
direct impact of his work because it shows how he can be efficient and get it out to the market really like quickly and also soon.
7th through 11th grade. And if you want to be humbled, try to teach a kid something. So I went to the school and I said, it's 65% humidity. And the 7th grader said, what's humidity? And I said, oh, it's water and air. He said, there's no water and air, you're an idiot. And I was like, all right, don't trust me. Actually, don't trust me, right? Set it to 100. He sets it to 100, and what happens? It starts to condense, make a fog, and eventually drip. And he says, oh, humidity is rain. Why didn't you just tell me that? We created an interface for this that's much like a game. So they have a 3D environment. They can log into it anywhere in the world on their smartphone, on their tablet. They have different parts of the bots, the physical, the sensors. They select recipes that have been created by other kids anywhere in the world. They select and activate that recipe. They plant a seedling.
This is like a cool integration because like it's pretty much like a sim simulator. Like like My Sims, like you have their own world except for plants, except it happens in real life. So they're pretty much expanding the world of farmers and also helping our food and our harvest become healthier, cleaner, and definitely give more nutrients for less amount of work.
While it's growing, they make changes. They're like, why does the plant need CO2 anyway? Isn't CO2 bad? It kills people. Crank up CO2, plant dies.
It does teach a lot
or
about
crank down
chemistry
CO2,
as
plant
well,
does very well.
and also
Harvest
about,
plant, and you created a new digital recipe.
agriculture.
It's an iterative design and development and exploration process. They can download then all of the data about that new plant that they developed, or the new digital recipe, and what did it do? Was it better? Was it worse? Imagine these as little cores of processing. We're going to learn so much. So here's one of the food computers, as we call them in a school, in 3 weeks' time. Right? This is 3 weeks of growth, but more importantly, was the first time that this kid ever thought that he could be a farmer, or that he would want to be a farmer. So we've open sourced all of this. It's all online. Go home, try to build your first
pretty
food
much
computer.
this open source part is pretty interesting because there's always open source for code, for like gaming code, for just making app code, but then for farming code, this is a first. So I think this is a pretty big like pioneering step for him.
Be difficult. I'm just telling you, we're in the beginning, but it's all there. It's very important to me that this is easily accessible. We're going to keep making it more so. These are farmers. Electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, environmental engineer, computer scientist,
So
plant
this is
scientist,
pretty
economist.
interesting because like you would not expect all these type of people, especially who are associated with like all this technology, to be farmers, but you see them here just growing plants and pretty much doing what they do.
Planners on one platform, doing what they're good at, but we got a little too big. I'm proud to announce this is my new facility that I'm just starting. This warehouse could be anywhere. That's why I chose it. And inside of this warehouse, we're gonna build something kind of like this. These exist right now. Take a look at it. These exist too. One grows greens, one grows Ebola vaccine. Pretty amazing. The plants, and this DARPA Grand Challenge winner is one of the reasons we're getting ahead of Ebola. The plants are producing the protein.
This is very relevant because the Ebola crisis has been expanding, especially in one of our favorite foods like Chipotle and stuff. So this is good that they are finding a way to cure this type of disease.
So pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals, all the way down to lettuce. But these two things look nothing alike, and that's where I am with my field. Everything is different. We're in that weird, we're all right stage, and it's like, here's my black box, no, buy mine. No, I've got intellectual property that's totally valuable, don't buy his, buy mine. And the reality is, we're just at the beginning. In a time when society is shifting too, when we ask for more cheaper food, we're now asking for better, environmentally friendly food. And when you have McDonald's advertising what's in the chicken McNugget, the most mysterious food item of all time, they are now basing their marketing plan on that. Everything is changing. So into the world now, personal food computers, food servers, and food data centers. Run on the open phenome. Think open genome, but we're going to put little climate recipes like Wikipedia that you can pull down, actuate, and grow. What does this look like in a world? You remember the world connected by strings. We start having beacons. We start sending information about food rather than sending food. This is not just my fantasy. This is where we're already deploying. Food computers, food servers, soon to be food data centers, connecting people together to share information. The future of food is not about fighting over what's wrong with this. We know what's wrong with this. The future of food is about networking the next 1 billion farmers.
So I think this part is really, sorry, I'm just going to let it finish.
Empowering them with a platform to ask and answer the question, what if? Thank you.
Okay, so pretty much what I think about this is that it's very interesting how he connected back to the apple because it shows like we were talking about before, like what is wrong with this apple? This apple has killed not only the people who eat it, but also the workers itself. And then at the end, he comes back to it and says, what if? What if we can just create something that can make the apple better, that can pretty much give us nutrients from the apple? And I thought that was a very interesting point that he made. And then the other aspects of his like talking, his voice, and also like his presentation was that he had pictures of like the graphs and also of the data, of the experiments, of the people. So that just shows his ethos, his credibility in this system and also in this experiment. And then afterwards, his tone. His tone was pretty much upbeat. Sometimes it was humorous. Sometimes it got really serious with like the facts about the suicide of like farmers and how that's increasing. But then it also got funny with like the plant Facebook and then also how plants can meet each other. So I thought he was good, like good variation, and that kept the audience interested for most part and wasn't like super monotone all the time. And other than that, I think it's a very interesting topic and I will look into it later because I am a computer scientist. So we'll see where this goes. And yeah, catch you later.